Good class. Welcome back to video series 91610 for conceptual design. Today we're going to talk about materials. So selecting materials, and you need to do some research on that to meet the requirements of the standard. So looking at our design process, so far we've covered our need, want, or opportunity. That's our issue statement. We've looked at setting a design brief or a set of guidelines for us to follow. We've done some research and we're still at this research stage. The reason is, if you look back at your assessment schedule, you'll see the first criteria says you need to include the analysis of existing products and the context considerations. So the context considerations are specifically looking at material suitability. So you need to do some research on finding suitable materials for your go-kart. That's what we're going to look at today. And social acceptability also comes into that a little bit. So for those top marks for merit and excellence, what you need to do is the next page after research is this physical environment page. That's just really describing the racetrack itself, getting a picture of that racetrack, and also describing what conditions your race would entail and who's the driver. And then for those top marks, really, if you wrote a brief comparison on the differences between electric and combustion engines and their social acceptability, that would probably put you into that top mark category. Anyway, today, it's really up to you if you want to do that, but that's what you need to do for those top marks. So the materials analysis, what I want you guys to do is really start off with this YouTube video to get you thinking about that. So if you just go into YouTube and type in where stuff comes from, watch through this video, and that should give you a good grounding in materials. Okay, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that video and got you thinking about some of those broader issues around the impact of technology on society. Anyway, so on our example page here, I'm just for an example, you guys might want to compare mild steel EW40 versus aluminium tubing as your two different material options for making the go-kart frame and all the components. So if that was your example, you can choose different examples if you want to. You can choose different materials that you think you might want to use. What you need to do for each one is probably just look up Wikipedia, for example, mild steel Wikipedia, and find all the information on mild steel. So things like the strength, the durability, the look of it, availability and cost, how easy it is to machine, and then write a brief conclusion. Are you going to use this or are you going to use that, or you haven't decided yet? So in these columns here, you really just need to write brief bullet points, not a full paragraph. A brief bullet point, a brief bullet point is enough. These two top columns here are really hitting that broadest sense thinking for for the standard. So life cycle analysis rating. So you need to rate steel from 1 to 5 in your own opinion, having done a little bit of research. So 1 means it's a single use, non-recyclable, non-renewable material. So a good example of that would be plastic bags, the way we used to shop in this country last year. Those plastic bags, you couldn't recycle them. They were like throw away, use once, throw away. How do you think steel rates on that category? Is it a single-use item or can you reuse it and reuse it and reuse it? So give that a rating from 1 being really poor or 5 being carbon neutral, recyclable, minimum pollutants. So you need to do your own research on that to be able to answer this rating. And then the bottom one says sustainable factor rating. Again, you need to give steel, mild steel, a rating from 1 to 5. 1 means it only meets 1 out of 3 of these things. So it says here social, economic, and environmental. So does steel have social value? Does it employ people? You'd have to say it does, like people, manufacture steel in factories. Is it economic? Yes. It makes people money. Lots of things are made out of it. Is it environmental? Probably not, because you need coal, like coking coal, to melt the iron ore for steel, right? So it probably meets 2 out of 3 of those criteria. So if that was the case, I'd probably give it a rating personally of maybe 3.5. But you guys need to think about that yourself and give it a rating based on what research you've found. If you can find any material that has social, economic, and environmental value and meets all 3 of those, gets a 5, let me know, because I'm not sure if any material currently exists like that. But you might find materials that have a pretty high rating. So that's what you need to do for your material analysis. This should take you probably about an hour's worth of research to complete this page. And yes, it is part of the standard, so you need to get this stuff done. Once you've done that, we're really set to get on with our concepts and start coming up with some creative designs. So that'll be our next video.